Hi everyone, we're reading chapter 25 of Del to Our Moon by Darby Carshett. Oof! I hit the ground, bounced once, then skidded a few feet. Dust and bits of dried vegetation flew up around me. Sprawled in the dirt at Rigo's hooves. I waited for the air to return to my chest. Finally, my lungs decided to get to work. I gasped, then squinted in the afternoon sun and glared up at him. What? Was that? He lowered his head and nosed me. Sorry, guess I cornered too fast. Gee, you think? His turns, his stops, his change of gaits, heck, all his moves were greased lightning quick. It was like riding a jackrabbit, a big, brown, over-caffeinated jackrabbit. Warn me next time, would you? I grabbed his mane. He lifted his head and pulled me to my feet. Kathleen once told me that a horse's neck had more muscles than than I had in my entire body, which was good since Rigo had been hauling me off the ground a lot. I coughed again, then dusted off my jeans. All day, with only a short lunch break, Dad had the two of us out in the practice field. He ran through every drill he could think of, riding at a gallop along a row of fence posts with melons stuck on the top, pulverizing them with my mace until both of them were sticky with cantaloupe juice. Then standing in the middle of the field and trying to swing one-handed into the saddle as Rigo thundered past. The only good part was the bay was a couple of hands shorter than Turk, which meant I had a slim chance of getting on instead of no chance. To the east, a low mound of bare earth watched over us. I kept looking at it to punish myself. I knew later Dad would order a flat, square stone engraved with Elson's name and his favorite saying and place it there, just like he had done for the other horses, just like our family had done for generations. Those memorials were scattered all over the ranch. Whenever we'd run across one, Dad would tell us what he knew about the particular warhorse. But anyways, but always he reminded us that the markers celebrated life and sacrifice and love. I wrenched my eyes away. Where's my mace? I searched it out, finally spotting it buried in a sage bush a few feet away. Groaning, I dove for it. He's going to kill me for dropping it. Rigo took a stance in front of me. Not if he doesn't know. Hurry, before he looks over here. Oh, wait, he relaxed. Nah, we're good. Javier missed the whole thing. He's by the barn talking to Roman. Looks like he and Vasco just got back. Where'd they go? I yanked my weapon free and flurry of pungent leaves, then squeezed. I think they went to check out the maze. Vasco mentioned last night that he and Roman might try to sneak inside and do a little reconnaissance today. See what the pack of ground round was up to, and see if the coffer was unguarded. Pretty gusty for them to go alone. Surprised I didn't try to talk them out of it. Well, Roman knows when to take risks and when not to, and Vasco is some serious heavy cavalry. Sorry, true that. I mounted and settled into the saddle. I cannot talk today. Jeez, sorry. A sharp whistle from Dad. Rigo struck out as fast trot for the barn. Just as fast, my palms broke out in a sweat. I dried them on my jeans. No scent or sound of fresh skin or near the camp. Vasco was saying as Rigo and I rode up. They may be keeping their heads down for now. And the empty coffer is still by our Albury's trailer. Roman raised his eyebrows in a silent question. Dad nodded. Then we stand a chance. Chance for what? I wondered. Are you talking about that ritual? How are we going to get the Skinners back into the coffer if they're scattered all over the maze? If we reach the coffer first without interference, Dad said, then they will come to us. I will explain when we reach the camp. For now, we must hurry. 10 minutes later, my father and Roman had coiled larents tied to their saddles, and their horses had drunk their fill. Kathleen passed a couple of water bottles to Roman, who stored them in Vasco's saddlebag. Laying a hand on her husband's knee, she shot a stern glance at the rest of us. Don't take any more risks than you have to, she ordered. It'll ruin my day if I have to patch up any of you, man, boy, or horse. Roman blew her a kiss, and we trotted out of the yard. The whole time I trailed along behind the others. I wondered about the ritual, and Dad and Roman had mentioned. Was it going to be anything like Dad had done in the cave? Or worse? Oh, Rigo breathed. I laid my hand on the shoulder. Yeah, that's pretty bad. The site looked like an abandoned refugee camp. Tattered tent remnants snapped in the dry, hot wind. Clothing and equipments were strewn everywhere. The coffer sat by Oliver's trailer, the lid open and the whole thing covered in a layer of dust. Dad and Roman dismounted and spoke in low tones. Then the big hunter pointed his mace toward the open patch of ground about 10 yards away. Grasping the coffer's iron rings, they hauled the container to the spot. What are they doing, Ben? Probably something gothic and mysterious. Whatever it is, I hope the Skinners will leave us alone long enough to do whatever Dad and Roman have planned. Me too. I noticed Rigo's ears were pivoting like crazy. Do you hear anything? No, nothing. He raised his head and tested the air. I smelled something, but it might just be leftover stench from the coffer. Boys, come. We swung down and hurried over at Roman's request. We helped him shift the iron chest back and forth under our father's directions. The whole time he kept one eye on the western mountains. Bueno, I think it's close enough. Dad folded the lid further back on its hinges. I peered inside. Nothing but dust and stink. Close enough. For what? We need the coffer and ourselves aligned with the four directions, Roman said. It strengthens our mace's power so that they can do the job. What job? Knocking us out cold? I thought back to what happened in the cave. What if we all fall unconscious and the Skinners come back? I swallowed through a dry mouth. Stand there, Ben. Roman gestured with his weapon. Matt, the south side, across from your brother. He then stepped to the west side of the coffer while Dad took the east. My sons. Dad slid the mace's loop around his wrist. Once we begin, we cannot stop. I mean, physically. We will be locked together until the coffer is closed. So if you need to pee, Maddie, Ben nodded toward a large chamiso bush. Go now. Dad ground his boots into the earth, a bull preparing to charge. Then he took a deep breath and raised his mace, holding it above the coffer. He pointed it toward the sky. Roman did the same thing, touching the head of his weapon to my father's with a soft jink. I was tensed. Was something supposed to happen? Ben, at Dad's quiet command, my brother joined his mace with the others. Still nothing. No lightning bolts or flames, not even a sound effect. Matt, my father said, holding my breath. I licked my lips and brought up my mace. This is lame. Nothing's going to happen. A sharp jerk, like a giant magnet pulling at my weapon, almost yanked the haft from my wrist. I, tight- I tightened my grip just in time. Clink! The head of the mace clashed into the others. Crack! Sparks exploded in a shower. I yelped when one stung my cheek. They hung in the air like fireworks, then drifted downward, sputtering out as they touched the ground. Waves of energy pulsated through me. At first, I thought it was my heart thumping. Then I realized it came from the mace's vibrations, hummed down the shaft along my arm and into my body. The wind picked up and slapped my hair into my eyes. I pulled. My weapon was locked tight, as if the four iron heads had been welded together. Then I tried to let go of the handle. Nope. Holy moly, Ben shouted at the wind. I know, it's like we're super glued together. No, he pointed up at the sky with his free hand. Look! Black clouds boiled up from nowhere, good and dark. From nowhere good and darkened the sky. The wind increased. It whipped and spurred its way across the valley, turning the clouds in a clockwise rotation, sent bit my eyes and stung my face and arms. Dad's hat flew off and tumbled away. First time he had ever lost it. Turk, Dad yelled over the growing storm. You and the others stand clear. No arguing. The siege reluctantly edged away. Their manes and tails swirled around them like pennants on the flag bearer's pole. Tremors ran through my soles and up my legs. Sheesh, get a grip, I ordered myself. Then I realized it wasn't me that was trembling. It was the ground. Uh-oh, I whispered. The earth shook like a truck rattling over a cattle guard. Rocks tumbling from the cliffs and bounced off, smashing on the valley floor, squealing as he reared, striking out the invisible threat. Rigo and Turk danced in place, ears flat and eyes wide. All the while, Vasco stood his ground, his legs braced apart and neck arched. A granite statue. Only his mane and tail moved, war banners rippling in the storm. The wind tore at our clothes, trying to rip them off of our bodies. Here they come, Roman bellowed. Movement out of the corner of my eye. I squinted, the wind half blinding me. Dark shapes appeared. They rose from the ground and into the air, swooshing and rising with the wind. At first, I thought it was the flock of some giant misshapen crows. They flew closer. Madre de Dios, protect me! Not crows, Skinners. Caught up in the swirling vortex, they spun around and around, limbs patting the air helplessly. Their howls were drowned out by the storm. Boom! The snake-like tail of a vortex struck the ground nearby. No bigger than one of Izzy's hooves, it was still freaking powerful. It pureated, ripping up bushes and scrubs with every rotation. The rest of the tornado disappeared upward into the storm clouds. Skinners swarmed in and out of the funnel, their paws clawing for purchase. Roaring louder than any train, the tip of the funnel darted between me and my father. The force almost lifted my feet from the earth. It fingered the coffer, then jumped inside of it. Corkscrewing downward, it dragged the howling creatures with it, one by one. I moaned. What if the vortex grabs us too? What if we get trapped in the coffer with all those skinners? Muscles cramping, I tried to switch hands. Stinging debris pelted my face. A rock sliced my ear. Holding my free arm in front of my face, I squeezed my eyes tighter. Tight. Matt! Dad shouted. Watch out! My eyes flew open. A large shape tumbled past and hit the ground behind me. Still trapped, I twisted around. A few yards away, a Skinner staggered to its feet. Spotting me pinned in place, it bared its teeth in glee. I wrenched myself from side to side. Let go! I screamed at the mace. The creature slunk closer, its fangs wet with poison, and its mad eyes blazing over the storm's roar. Over the storm's roar, I heard my father shouting desperately for Turk. The Skinner sprang. It flew towards me, its gaping jaws growing wider every second. I swore I could see down its throat and into its gut. My final destination. I was going to die. There was no way Turd could reach me in time. And he didn't. Ooh, that's the end of chapter 25. Spooky. If you liked, please like and subscribe and turn on notifications. And if you have any questions or comments, please put them in the comments. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.